Picture Brazil. What flashes in your mind? Football, Neymar, sultry beaches, sexy girls, and an endless carnival of culture. Brazil is synonymous with beauty, a global allure that beckons wanderers worldwide. But behind this vibrant facade hides a tale seldom told, a tale of stark contrasts and hidden shadows. It's a land where the symphony of poverty-stricken favelas clashes with the deafening silence of untold gang wars, painting a canvas of despair and resilience. As the world gazes upon Brazil's majestic beauty, it often misses the chilling truth, the staggering violence that makes it one of the country with the highest number of homicide rates in the world. This isn't the Brazil showcased in travel brochures or the tales of wanderlust. This is the Brazil veiled in shadows, an unseen saga rarely acknowledged. This isn't the Brazil you think you know. Picture Brazil as a massive, vibrant canvas, painted with the stories of ancient civilizations, cultures, and events that stretch across thousands of years. It's a tale that begins with the indigenous peoples, 2,000 tribes strong, scattered from the Amazon rainforest to the Atlantic coast, Tupi, Guarani, Arawak, Jay, Pano, and many more. Fast forward to 1500 and enter Portuguese explorer Pedro Álvares Cabral, claiming Brazil for Portugal. This kickstarts a colonial era where Portugal takes, well, everything. Gold, sugar, and even the indigenous way of life. They brought in their culture and religion, but it came at a cost. The brutal enslavement of millions of Africans to work the plantations. This dark period leaves an indelible mark on Brazil, creating a society where Portuguese elites sit pretty at the top, mixed-race folks in the middle, and enslaved Africans at the very bottom. This ancient power play sets the stage for the inequalities that linger in Brazil today. Fast forward again to 1822. Brazil decides it's done being bossed around by Portugal and declares independence, turning into the Empire of Brazil with Emperor Pedro I. Big changes happen. A solid government, a growing nation, and cities like Rio de Janeiro booming. But in 1889, a military coup swaps the emperor for a republic. The 20th century rolls in with urbanization, factories popping up everywhere, and political makeovers. Suddenly, Brazil isn't just a country. It's a global economic player and the beating heart of culture in Latin America. Brazil's story is a vibrant tapestry woven from the resilience born of its history, a blend of indigenous, African, and European influences that breathe life into its traditions, music, cuisine, and art. It's a cultural legacy penned by brilliant minds like Machado de Assis and Paulo Coelho, a testament to Brazil's rich intellect and artistic soul. And Brazil's natural wonders like the Amazon rainforest, an emerald sanctuary teeming with an incredible diversity of life, and the coastline, adorned with iconic beaches like Copacabana and Ipanema, as well as the serene beauty of Bahia and Fernando de Noronha. Have you ever met Brazilian people? Warm, hospitable, and brimming with passion for music and dance. They turn celebrations into spectacles, from carnival's dazzling parades to the lively festas juninas that draw everyone together. And when it comes to football, a love story ignited in the late 19th century when British sailors brought the game to Brazil. It took root, becoming the nation's favorite sport, embraced by all social classes under the sun. What makes Brazil stand out on the football field? It's their abundant talent pool, the birthplace of legends like Pelé, Garrincha, Ronaldo, and Neymar. Football isn't just a game, it's a way of life for 78% of Brazilians. Kids start young, learning skills, and adding their personal touch. This dedication has made Brazil a global football powerhouse. 5 FIFA World Cup victories and 9 Copa America triumphs. But beyond the trophies, football in Brazil symbolizes unity, pride, and a shared identity, a source of inspiration and hope that unites people from all walks of life. Now, let's peek into Brazil's economic world, a bustling engine that ranks 10th globally, with a whopping $1.8 trillion GDP in 2021. Brazil is like an agricultural treasure chest, exporting goodies like soybeans, coffee, and sugar, making up about 1/5 of the country's wealth and employing millions. But hey, that's not all. It's also a significant player in oil, iron ore, and various minerals, contributing around 5% to its wealth and keeping those foreign exchange coins rolling in. And what fuels Brazil's economic fire? It's their people, a thriving middle class that's constantly fueling their desire for more. This fuels over 2/3 of Brazil's economy. Services take the lead, with finance, retail, and tourism pumping life into nearly 70% of Brazil's wealth. Now, here's where the plot thickens. Foreign investment. Brazil's like a magnet for this kind of attention, and it's boosting their economic growth big time. Brazil's got the ingredients for an economic jackpot. A workforce ready to roll up their sleeves, abundant natural resources, and a spirited entrepreneurial vibe. There's a real chance for Brazil to shine bright and join the league of global economic giants. But hold on, before the victory dance, let's talk about the hurdles. Inequality, political ups and downs, corruption, and even a sprinkle of violence. These are the dragons Brazil needs to conquer to reach its full potential. Brazil's history is marked by shadows, a tale of brutality from the days of colonization to the ongoing fight for fairness. The wounds from slavery, land disputes, and political turmoil linger, fostering a cycle of violence and a feeling that justice remains elusive. In Brazil, the issue of violence is intricate, woven from deep-seated roots like poverty, inequality, and a haunting history, amplified by the widespread presence of firearms. A staggering 60,000 homicides recorded in 2022, painting a grim picture of the challenges faced. Now, imagine certain places like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo, where the air hums with tension. Gang wars and drug cartels cast a shadow, turning streets into battlefields. But what drives this darkness? Economic gaps that create a landscape of despair. Poverty can push individuals into the arms of crime, seeking survival or escape. And in Brazil, guns are far too accessible. Loose laws and abundant firearms make violence deadlier and conflicts easier to resolve through arms. These gangs and cartels, they operate like shadowy rulers, recruiting youth from struggling neighborhoods, offering power and belonging in exchange for loyalty. They thrive in a world of illicit businesses, territory wars, and intimidation. And here's the chilling reality. Over 5,500 criminal gangs with 250,000 members. They rule the urban playground, weaving a web of drug and arms trade. They're powerful, often untouchable, controlling the streets and striking fear. These battles for territory and drug routes, they paint streets with blood, escalating violence and stealing lives. But here's another twist. The Guardians, Brazil's law enforcement, often struggle. They're understaffed, underfunded, and face a daunting enemy: corruption. This hampers their ability to shield communities from the storm of violence, to catch the culprits, and to bring justice. In Brazil, this isn't just about statistics. It's a real-life battle where communities face the unseen, where hope fights to outshine the shadows. As we mentioned earlier, slavery cast a long, dark shadow over Brazil, inflicting deep scars of inequality and brutality. Enslaved individuals suffered unimaginable pain, torn from their families, subjected to abuse, both physical and mental. And sadly, this legacy lingers today, painting a picture of racial imbalance. Now let's peek at the numbers. Facts that paint a stark reality. The income disparity is stark. White Brazilians earn 77% more on average than their black counterparts. Education mirrors this disparity too, with only 14% of black Brazilians over 25 achieving higher education, compared to 30% of white Brazilians. And there's more to this story. Prison stats reveal another chapter. Despite making up only half of the population, black Brazilians account for a staggering 56% of the prison population. And the chilling truth? Black Brazilians are 3 times more likely to be homicide victims than their white counterparts. Yet, in the midst of this, a movement has arisen. A rallying cry for change, inspired by global protests like Black Lives Matter and a growing awareness of these disparities. There's a rising chorus demanding justice against racism. But the fight is far from over. Racism in Brazil remains a profound challenge, casting a long shadow over the lives of black Brazilians. The journey to true equality is ongoing, but the voices for change are growing louder. In Brazil, poverty still knocks on many doors despite some economic progress. Imagine this. Over 20% of the population couldn't afford the basics like food, shelter, and clothing in 2020. A tough reality for many. Now, picture wealth, like a cake sliced unfairly. A small group holds most of the cake, leaving very few slices for the rest. That's what high-income inequality looks like in Brazil. Most folks are left struggling while a handful enjoy the lion's share. But here's where it hurts the most. Imagine being held back from learning and training, feeling stuck in a loop. That's the story for many, especially indigenous and Afro-Brazilian communities. They often find themselves on the sidelines, locked away from opportunities. It's like being trapped in a cycle that's tough to break. Political instability and corruption. In Brazil's political tale, you'll find a roller coaster of ups-downs and a persistent shadow of corruption. Picture this, a carousel of 54 presidents since Brazil claimed independence in 1822, averaging a new leader almost every year. That's how rocky Brazil's political boat sails. And talking about corruption, the numbers don't lie. Brazil ranks high on the Corruption Perception Index, 84 out of 180 countries. Another index, Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, places Brazil at 69th among 180 countries. And here's the story behind the numbers. Ever heard of the Lava Jato scandal? It's a tale of massive bribery and dirty money involving top dogs, politicians, and business bigwigs. This scandal uncovered billions funneling out of state-owned companies like Petrobras, traded for favors like juicy contracts. The list of those involved reads like a who's who in Brazil. Former presidents, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Dilma Rousseff, politicians, business tycoons, and union leaders, all with their hands in the cookie jar. The Lava Jato bombshell rocked Brazil to its core. It shook up politics, put many powerful figures behind bars, and sparked a nationwide call for anti-corruption change. But the damage didn't stop there. It hurt Brazil's big-name companies, shook investor trust, and left scars on the country's financial markets. The Lava Jato saga isn't just a chapter, it's a milestone in Brazil's history, a glaring spotlight on the corruption deeply rooted for decades. Beyond Brazil's fame for football glory, stunning beaches, and the attractiveness of their sexy lady, lies a hidden narrative. Yet, it's this tapestry of contrasts that paints the vibrant portrait of the Brazil we know today, a blend of beauty and shadows, creating a story that's uniquely its own.